Good afternoon. I'm DRBMiller and this is Call of Duty Warzone. A warm welcome to all of our gamers, friends, community members and viewers worldwide on various platforms. Thank you for joining our channel, and most importantly thank you for supporting all we do here every single day of the year. We have Destiny and Warzone presently as our main games here attached to the channel and you've seen in recent weeks we have been indeed playing Warzone on every single day, and I hope everybody indeed enjoyed our activities. I can see our friends are joining us, but I'm afraid I can't connect at the moment. I have to do my introduction, so if everyone can join me in about 15 or 20 minutes, I would appreciate it. Sorry about that.
Well,
because I've got news and everything else to read, and it's quite a lot, and I don't want to keep you waiting. So
Alright, yeah, all right, mate.
Yeah, no worries. So I'll bring you in as soon as we crack on with gameplay.
Alright, bud.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks very much indeed. Right, so coming back to what I said, we have Destiny and Warzone as our main games here, and we are going to be having quite a lot of Destiny during the Christmas period. The reason for that is very simple. We have the Dawning season indeed fully in motion, and I've not really streamed anything that would have been connected to the season during the last couple of weeks because of some of the issues I had with my Destiny game on Xbox One, and also I wanted to complete Beyond Light before entering the season, but you know, there have been some issues. As I said during my broadcast, we had a number of our friends who were not able to join us, and I didn't really want to do the multiplayer activity, you know, when you have to eliminate all the bosses all by yourself, and I wanted at least a three-man team to be doing it together with me. So I've been asking Sekapupu and other guys to come in, but unfortunately the vast majority are either playing Destiny on PC or PlayStation, and you will know that we had almost about 18 months of Destiny streams on PlayStation, so obviously our community of gamers will be attached to that platform, and I'm presently streaming Destiny on Xbox. The reason for that is simple. The entire game with all DLCs and some of the seasonal content is accessible through the Game Pass, and the Game Pass gives us this unconditional easy access to everything, and therefore I'm using it and I'm maximizing on all the benefits that the Ultimate subscription provides us, and recommend everyone really to subscribe to try the Ultimate, because you will get instant access to more than 200 games. They also include EA access, EA Play, and that's the new, very recent addition to the overall pack that we get. And I was a subscriber previously to EA Play, and I have to say the games they offer are terrific. You have lots of AAA blockbusters, Battlefield series, Mass Effect trilogy, let me think what else, Dragon Age, all the games, everything is included, just to name a few, and therefore you can simply download them and play them at will as much as you like. So that's wonderful, and I'm not personally sure how long EA Play is going to be still part and parcel of the Game Pass, but nevertheless, even if you were using it separately, you pay like £4 a month. I mean, that's really very, very little, isn't it? And for £4 you can get a cup of coffee in my local area, and for, you know, just that tiny little investment, you are getting access to all the other games, and that in itself is going to be very, very wonderful, and it will work to your advantage if you want to explore some of the best titles that Electronic Arts had ever published. And BioWare, with Mass Effect trilogy and Dragon Age series, will be certainly topping it and excelling at all times. So coming back to Destiny, I have to reschedule and have to rethink when and what part of the day we would want to have some of the streams to be taking place, because as you've seen, our Warzone community is vibrant, it's very active, very sociable, very family friendly and growing. And you would have seen just a moment ago on my broadcast that as soon as I logged in, and just as I was about to start my broadcast, our friends were immediately joining us, and that is terrific, because it shows that this is a game that really will be connecting people from everywhere through in-game activities, chats, communication, interactions, and all else. And I'm absolutely, truly, and fully delighted to be having it here on my channel. I was a bit apprehensive about Call of Duty games previously because of that well-known toxic content and all that usually take place where you have lots of people raging and swearing and doing all kinds of things which really are quite unacceptable here on this channel. But I managed to build a community through a very simple way of selecting random gamers after I played many hundreds of matches, and people who joined us indeed are the very best of those who are participating in our gaming community. As you've seen, we have regular daily squads, always enjoying our tactics and strategies, providing tips and advice to all the novice players and newbies, and overall getting also new people to come in. And I had quite a few email messages coming in from around the world where people said, we really like the way you are doing Warzone streams, because this is an adult game, it's 18 plus rated, but what you provide is a content freely accessible and family friendly to everyone. So a person who is, let's say, 16 to 18 could watch the game and learn from us and get ready for all the activities at a later date. Also, we can have people who are watching in order to learn, and we have sometimes obviously some competitive players who want to see what sort of strategies we are discussing. And quite frankly, I had an email, I think 2 days ago, from the US. One of our Destiny veterans emailed me, and he said, what's very interesting is that you're discussing not just your own strategies, but you're watching sometimes the last 5 teams who are, the last ones in the arena, the teams that are going to be winning the game, and then you're analyzing what they did right, what they did wrong, what actually made them win the game. And it's a great learning experience. It's a great tutorial to everyone who wants to be progressing towards that competitive gaming level. Well, that's terrific, because none of us are esports competitive gamers. We are all doing it for fun, but also we are, fairly analytic. And fun enough, our friend Paphos from Germany frequently reminded me that I should be called Dr. Miller, right? He knows obviously what my core profession is, and he was just attributing the doctor title to it, but DRB stands for my 3 names, and it doesn't really stand for Dr. B. Miller, so just wanted to clarify this. I like the idea of the analytic mind being applied to the game, because this is a game of strategies, and if you are after quick matches, if you're after close quarter battles, if you're after all the other niceties that you can get in a very, very kind of small arena, then this week we also have Cold War offered free of charge, the multiplayer that is. It will provide you with lots of quick death matches, and the maps there really vary from very, very tiny to fairly wide, but none of them are as big as Verdansk here in Battle Royale. And I think if you're a fan of high speed, pace, adrenaline, and all other things, then indeed you can be jumping in with both feet and enjoying all the activities. I have to say we tried it on Saturday, and still have a look at it towards the end of the week, and what we do have is certainly a game that didn't seem to perform too well on Saturday and Sunday, and I think it's very likely that the reason for that is obviously free access. It's Christmas, it's lockdown. We have probably millions and millions of people trying to get in, and therefore the servers were melting. I did test it on alpha and beta, performed reasonably well without any major glitches, but the problems I had with alpha and beta did persist this weekend, and these problems were purely of technical nature. Some people who were in different regions had quicker access to the Treyarch Studios servers, which meant they had massive advantage. They could see us before we saw them. It wasn't down to the internet speed, because I've seen some other very, very fast players in there who were getting killed all the time. All the matches we played were like 60 to 70 points difference, and that's usually an indication that something is seriously wrong. And I played loads of other alphas and betas, and that's the usual kind of problem that you face there when you're testing the server speeds, when you're coming in large numbers, etc., etc. So for anyone who really wants to be exploring the world of Cold War, it's the right time now. And I had actually a very nice message wishing me a very happy Christmas from our friend Radman. So thank you, Radman. If I'm not mistaken, Radman is in Morocco, and he is one of the veterans of PUBG, and we played PUBG quite a lot early in the year. He did not join us here for Warzone matches because people are fairly territorial when it comes to some of the FPS games. And interestingly enough, I spotted 3 of our Apex veterans who also played Battlefield in the past but have not migrated to Warzone, so I'm not sure what it is that actually keeps them away from this wonderful Battle Royale map. But I'll email them. We'll find out eventually whether they want to join us. It'd be particularly rewarding for our Dutch friends from Amsterdam and from Hague, Utrecht, to join us, because Sunny, who is Amsterdam, I'm sure would be delighted to have a crew of Dutch players also being fully on board. So what I'll do is, during the Christmas period, I'll send them the usual Christmas greetings, because this is what I do to every single year to everyone who's following our community, and then we'll have a chat and see whether they want to try it out sometimes, with some of our squads. Right, so to summarize, Call of Duty Cold War is available free of charge in its multiplayer sections literally for the whole week. It's Thursday to Thursday, so it's Thursday gone to Christmas Eve, and you can try literally the vast majority of those multiplayer modes. Depending on what preferences you have, close quarter battles are quite enjoyable if you're on fast fiber, and you will have some maps that actually can have a proper tactical approach from a team. But if you do it with your squad, it will be a lot better compared to the game, the multiplayer being played with randoms. It's a similar sort of experience to what we have here. Right, so remember that Cold War is available until this Thursday coming, and Radman, I forgot to say, was indeed sending the very best Christmas wishes to everyone, and he also said he was quite curious about how long the Cold War is going to be available free of charge. So I explained to him in my message that we would get day by day some extra unlocks, and then there comes next Thursday all the other modes will be accessible. But it didn't really perform technically too well, I have to say, and I can't really, please do not quote me this, I've not played Cold War in its full format, so I'm not sure whether this is the reason as to why some people were not happy, because I've seen a lot of frosty responses on Twitter and Reddit after the game came out, and I thought it was more to do with the campaign and what was offered as part and parcel of it. But if there are any issues related to anything to do on the tech side, then that indeed might be certainly of great concern. Right, so let me just have a quick look and see what we had today coming in on the news. I'm very grateful to our friends Spurs and Benuken to come in so early. Thank you guys really for volunteering. It's wonderful to see you. And as you know, if you're familiar with my streams, you always have a lengthy introduction first, and then once we jump in, we literally focus on the actual in-game activity, particularly in here, because it requires tactics. So there's very little chit-chat with anything outside of what we're actually doing. And then we also engage with anybody else who comes in with questions. So it's quite a significant difference compared to what we usually have in Destiny streams, because Destiny does not require this kind of tactics unless we were doing raids or some of the other more of the pinnacle activities. But actually, raids would be probably the best example of an activity where everybody needs to be switched on, and in order to get to that kind of final point. And as you know, due to my internet speeds, I was not really doing any raids, and for the obvious reason, because obviously you will check how fast everybody is in order to complete the task. So we're just hampering everyone's effort. The news I have today are, well, first of all, the vast majority are linked to Cyberpunk, and I'll tell you about this in a moment, but there's been some heartwarming news coming from the US. You will remember I talked quite a lot in here about charitable runs and running streams and connecting with other gamers and streamers who want to be doing something noble. The streams of providing not just initially content, but actually raising revenue for a good cause. And I'm always excited to see where people get together and manage to get significant revenue and invest it in a particular charity. So we've heard that today from Bethesda, right? Bethesda Game Studios said, "What an incredible and most deeply inspiring story. Congratulations, FChad, Fallout 76, and the Fallout community for an amazing accomplishment for making an impact on so many lives." So what did they do? One of the streamers got his own community and other people who were friends of friends, to basically run charitable streams and then get as many contributions as possible for a children's hospital called St. Jude. So if you go to my Twitter and if you access the postings, you will get the one which is from Bethesda Game Studios right at the top. It was posted about two hours ago. This is literally fresh news, just hot off the press, just came in. And he does say that our friend Chad, who runs also a Fallout 76 podcast, managed to pass $100,000, and it's fantastic. They actually raised $100,000 of charitable contributions for St. Jude's Children's Hospital in the US. So that's really quite extraordinary. And I was looking at St. Jude Play Live, and that is basically also a platform that supports. It's basically a video game charity platform supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So basically you can play for more than just your usual kind of everyday gaming experience. And they also have the Discord channel. So I'd like to say, first of all, if you're interested in exploring how everything works, follow that thread. Right? Go to Bethesda, go to my Twitter first, get to the posting from Bethesda, and have a look at what our friend Chad said. Once you get to his posting, click on St. Jude Play Live, because that is the platform that has been used for charitable contributions that will go directly towards the fund that is attached to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. $100,000 in a very short period of time, raised before Christmas during the times of pandemic. That is absolutely extraordinary. I'm in awe of these kinds of efforts, and obviously what I wanted to hear was to build our community towards that sort of cause. It's a bit difficult, a bit more difficult in the UK compared to all that is happening in the US, and that's, there are many reasons as to why that is. It's more to do with the way the welfare state works, the way we have our charities organized in the UK, as well as the degree of development, the degree of advancement that the streaming or streamer community in the US indeed have already reached. It's much more advanced than I'd say in any other part of the world, for the obvious reason. People started out streaming earlier than everyone else, and the US is a very highly technologized country, and you also have many people who want to be joining forces to this form of communication in order to provide something which is seen as a good cause, and particularly during the hardships and the difficult times that we are presently living in. So that altogether is a very, very great bit of news. I'm absolutely delighted to have received it. I want to direct everyone to that posting, everything to do with Bethesda, St. Jude Play Live, and everyone else who contributed. You are absolutely terrific. You are our heroes during the times of pandemic. You really do want to be contributing towards such causes, and I want to applaud everyone who participated. So absolutely wonderful. That's the best news I received, and I'm absolutely delighted to have been not a part of this, but just simply a person who can be talking about such accomplishments here on my channel. So we've heard that the Witch Queen being in the old Chicago makes a lot of sense. Paul Tassi is saying this. Paul Tassi is a staff writer of Forbes. He talks frequently about Destiny and other games, and he says, as we continue to fail the dawning community quest, I thought I would turn my gaze to something further in the distance, specifically Destiny's next big expansion after Beyond Light, the Witch Queen. So he's really talking about what we are expecting to happen next, right? And he says, Bungie took the unusual step of naming its next two expansions already, the Witch Queen in fall 2021 and Lightfall in the fall of 2022. So we're really talking about the saga continuing for the next 2 years. As in the case of the Witch Queen, we already know who that is. Sabathan, who we've been chasing essentially since Destiny 1 after we murdered her brother Oryx. While there's been a long-running theory that Bungie will bring the Dreadnought from Destiny 1 out of the content vaults for the Witch Queen, like it did the Cosmodrome this time, there's also the matter of Bungie's promise to make sure each expansion comes with a fully new zone too. That zone, he says, I've recently been made aware of a theory that it's going to be in the old Chicago, a zone that Destiny has been talking about for eons, but one we've never actually seen. I saw a monster post about this theory on Reddit the other day, etc., etc. He actually talks about the assumption, one way or the other. We know that The Witch Queen is definitely going to be the next expansion. Whether it will take place in Chicago and elsewhere is for us to discover. Then we have Monster Hunter Rise revealing new concept art for Somnicanth and Bison. So if you're interested, just head to my Twitter and have a look. We have a new game that's been recommended as one of the best of the year. It's called Dreadout 2. I'm personally not familiar with the game, so let me see what it said. They said that the Indonesian horror game Dreadout 2 does have some specters are known as Kuntilanak, and the way they're referred in Indonesia. So these are long-haired, howling spooks, and every bit as vicious and frightful as somebody could imagine. And plenty more such Indonesian ghosts lurk in the city if you spend the bulk of your time in Dreadout 2. So Dreadout 2 is a game that we need to explore. I've not tried it, not very familiar, but they say it's one of the best games that was produced in the course of this year. So we've seen also that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is refusing to turn down SBMM, and that's been confirmed by some of the people from Activision. So there will be a bit more of a saber rattling in there as far as this is concerned. We've seen lots of screenshots coming in from various community members of the in-gaming activity in Cyberpunk, and I think the community is divided. You have one lot that are very, very angry about all the tech issues, and you've got the others who are absolutely truly delighted with everything they received so far. So we've heard also that Microsoft is progressing down the route of providing refunds to everyone who is not really particularly happy with the game, and we have to see, because I think the old gen version for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 indeed is seriously backfiring and is not performing properly, and therefore on Sony Play Store they just discontinued with the sales for the time being, and I think it's likely that Microsoft stores will do exactly the same. They've not confirmed that yet, and they did say that the game is working reasonably well on the new gen consoles, I should say, PlayStation 5 included, and it works the best on PlayStation 5. On PCs, I should say. The last bit of news I have here is linked to the overall debate, the overall discussion on what's really happening at the moment in the video game industry. What's the reason for the big AAA blockbusters, like for instance Anthem and Fallout 76, those ones in most recent memory, to fail at the time when they're being launched? And all the marketing budgets that include hundreds of millions of dollars of investment therefore just fall flat on their faces, because quite frankly the game doesn't perform and people have serious issues with it. And I'll go through an article that was published today on Push Square. Push Square is a hub dedicated to all activities on PlayStation, so obviously they were very, very concerned. They were indeed very, very concerned about the problems that's experienced on the platform, and they'll be just giving us some insight on what actually is happening, and they'll be talking about the actual reasons for it. So let's have a look at what they said. Right. So we have reaction. How does it keep going wrong for big game launches? We have Henry Stockdale of Push Square. He is a staff writer, and let's see what he said. He says, well, this is a fine mess CD Projekt Red has found himself in Cyberpunk 2077. We went from enormous levels of hype to eye-track damage control in just over a week. After that initial announcement 8 years ago and many delays, the long-awaited RPG finally arrived on 10th of December, but put bluntly, the PS4 version has been shambolic to the Fallout 76 degree. So we've seen bad launches before, but never has Sony felt the need to actively intervene outright, delisting it from PlayStation Network and setting up a special system to offer refunds. Considering it barely works on base PC4s, running as slow as 15 frames per second in some instances, it isn't hard to see why PlayStation fans deserved so much better. PS4 Pro and PS5 functionality is generally more stable, but playing on a PS5 has noted crashing issues, so denying its current flaws would be disingenuous, and what we received is a far cry from where we were promised. We're not saying there isn't a good game at the core, But we admitted as much in our review in progress. This was on Push Square as well. Cyberpunk 2077 offers a strong central storyline, great characters, a fantastic setting within Night City, but on PS4 that potential has been squandered. Some argued, what did you expect? And there's an easy answer to that. We expect it to work on the console it released on. It's that simple. Well, I think he is really setting the expectations somewhat too high, quite frankly, because I think with the big games like Fallout 76, particularly if they have cross-platform access or multiplayer, then we have to be prepared for some issues. But how big these issues are going to be will be down to the developer, right? So I'm not really overly in favor of what he said, and I'm not agreeable with that assumption that every single game needs to work 100% when released. I think lots of staff writers are just gamers. They're not familiar with the tech, and therefore they don't know about all the liabilities and issues that are popping up. I'm also not a tech guy, but I've played many games over the years, and I personally know what difficulties there are right at the beginning. Specifically, if you have dozens or hundreds of millions of people entering the arena at the same time, this is still a problem for the tech that we have. I think in the near future, in about 5 to 10 years, that will be fully resolved. But today, we still are dependent on these speeds that we have, as well as the space that is made available. So even before the imminent launch, the red flags were showing. We received PS4 Pro, PS5 via backwards compatibility footage, but base PS4 previews were nowhere to be found. So basically what they did was, it was a bit of a cheat. They didn't send the previews of Cyberpunk that would indicate how the game performed on PS4 and Xbox One to anyone. And that's basically the major point of contention. Suspicions were raised even further when CDPR only provided, that's CD Projekt Red, provided console reviews copies just hours before launch. So nobody received any preview copies prior to that. Having witnessed the sheer number of gameplay bugs, it's easy to see why it tried to hide it. And that's without even getting into the wider catalogue of issues surrounding this game. So, CD Projekt Red's crunch culture, negative depictions of transgender community, initial offer refunds, developers receiving death threats over delays. I'd take this with a pinch of salt, actually. I do not know where these issues are coming from. I'm personally not familiar with any of these news. He's indicating that that's happening, but I think that's taking it too far. So we don't wish to minimize these important matters. They need all acknowledging in full, but this isn't the time for me to fully explore them. I actually didn't mention that there were some people reporting that after they played the game they were experiencing epileptic seizures, and that needs to be documented. There needs to be real evidence, tangible evidence that would indicate that that exactly was the case. It is possible that people who suffer from voice-sensitive epilepsy, as you know, but just everything's gone wrong for CD Projekt Red in the course of 1 week, inclusive of that $1 billion loss. So this isn't our first idea, and it follows the growing trend in gaming: release first, patch later, which I believe is wrong. And we've seen with Ubisoft they're a lot better than other companies in providing polished games, but they also had some issues with multiplayers and cross-platform games like The Division 2. And they said CD Projekt Red has formed here as The Witcher 3 also suffered numerous issues at launch, but comparatively those were not nearly as bad. Odd bugs are just one thing, but publishers are just straight up releasing fully priced games unfinished. An accusation with level at Bethesda, Electronic Arts and Ubisoft in particular. Right, so they obviously have a serious problem with Ubisoft. Evidently, some of the games didn't perform on PlayStation 4, and I need to dig up the titles to find out exactly what happened, because when I played Ubisoft games, well, I have to say I never played them on the release date, right? So there's a big difference in there. If you play a game on its release date, it's a different story compared to a game offered 6, 12, or 18 months later. Evidently, 18 months later, the game will be fully patched, fully functional, and it's going to be a different story on release. But his point, quite frankly, is about one major thing, right? So it's similar to what we have with films when released. Today, the industry wants all the monies to be made within the first 3 to 7 days, which means they want to break even. If you have a film that was costing $200 million, they want to break even within the first week, which means all the other profits, everything that comes in after the first week, is a bonus. But they want to make sure that the investment, the money they've invested in a particular film, indeed came back as quickly as possible. And this is the model that they're applying to video gaming industry as well, right? So the expectation was that Cyberpunk 2077 would beat The Last of Us 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2 as a game accessible through Sony PlayStation and other platforms, but actually it worked in reverse due to those issues. So instead of making 1 billion, allegedly, the company lost 1 billion. I'm not sure where the figure comes from, whether it's to do with the value of the shares, or whether it's to do with the overall marketing budget, or anything else. But that's the figure they officially stated as being the loss after their first week. The expectation of bugs doesn't excuse them, and you'll be mistaken if you think we are blaming that individual developers. So this isn't the fault of your overworked animators, QA level designers, and other hard-working staff. It comes down to senior management who knew exactly what state the game was in before signing it off. Well, he is not saying that the senior management also have got major responsibility when it comes to investment. Now, these companies are absolutely dependent on the creditors, first of all. So it's the banks that basically are offering them the revenue in order to basically build the game and finish it off and release it, and then people investing into the shares. So obviously they have a huge amount of responsibility, but somebody who just plays the game from time to time has got no idea. And we've seen some gamers ranting about Apex and Warzone. Why is it that we have to be still paying some things for it? But what do you want? You've got Apex and Warzone offered free of charge. It's optional. You want to buy those cosmetics, you can. You don't have to. You can still play the game, excel, win all the matches. I don't understand what the problem is, but anyway, people come up with certain issues. So, though many aspects factor into a bad launch, failure to manage expectations remains a major reason as it leads to player disappointment, which in turn amplifies the game's more negative elements. Marketing is a powerful tool for any new game, and as much as we do not like to admit it, everyone is susceptible. Any PR team worth the salt set out to generate hype in numerous ways, as this plays a critical role in shaping our perceptions, giving us bite-sized breakdowns of key information in an appealing manner. So there isn't a set rulebook. Each game follows through, and every release has its own selling point. Familiarity is a big one, and consider the vast number of AAA games we see each year that relate to a wider franchise as opposed to original stories. Sequels, prequels, remakes, and everything in between offer safe bets for studios who know they can bank on that brand, but it also carries a weight of expectation with it. We saw it happen with Mass Effect Andromeda, which we argued wasn't a bad game. Well, Bushko were pushing for it and supported the game, and quite frankly, it was a different styled game compared to the Mass Effect trilogy, which was very, very frostily received by the hardcore veterans of that trilogy. But compared to the critical acclaim Mass Effect's previous entries saw, it was certainly a flawed one. As a result, criticism was amplified across the board. Sometimes it comes from nostalgia, when developers deliberately set out to invoke memories or past favorites. So we've seen lots of other games in there. They include Kickstarters, and they pulled it off quite successfully. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, Yooka-Laylee, and also the games like Mighty Number 9. And I'm just trying to see where we've had also some, there is also a description of No Man's Sky, a game that really had lots of different issues and was even seen a game that will never be able to pick up. But actually they managed to provide patches, and they reversed the trend, and eventually No Man's Sky became, with its re-release, one of the most popular sci-fi games of the last decade. So they say that on other occasions hype gets out of hand due to the over-promising. We'd be remiss not to mention No Man's Sky here, Hello Games' ambitious space exploration game, which actually remains a prime example of what to avoid. So they were led by the studio's founder Sean Murray, and we could spend ages detailing just what went wrong. But after drawing in so much attention for the project's scope, it launched badly. Performance issues were everywhere, and many features believed to be included, such as multiplayer, were nowhere to be seen. So, to Sean's credit, he did try tempering expectations, but doing so the day before the launch, after several years of hype, was very, very difficult. So it reached a point where it got referred to the UK's Advertising Standards Authority, and this complaint was later dismissed. So for many months, Halo Games went quiet, received very, very kind of negative criticism, but instead of throwing in the towel, the team just kept going. And ever since, we've witnessed a large number of free updates, and as a result, No Man's Sky now ranks as one of the gaming's biggest redemption stories, together with Final Fantasy XIV. And lessons have clearly been learned since 2016, and only last year did Halo Games founder Sean Murray actively offer advice to Electronic Arts and Bethesda after these disastrous Anthem and Fallout launches, which indeed caused many difficulties to those companies. So we could actually go in and look at some other thoughts that our friend Henry Stockdale of Push Square was giving us, but the actual summary in here is, I guess, based on the monetary model that the companies are using. They want to be providing the most exciting content that will rival all the other publishers right from the beginning, and there are difficulties in terms of what certain companies, due to their size, their human resources and investments, could actually accomplish, and this is where it all falls flat. For the big heavyweights like Bethesda and Ubisoft, they will be looking at an amazing content which requires to be delivered within a very short period of time, and the deadlines and all the other dates that come to the developer's desk may sometimes be unrealistic in view of the expectations, and most importantly, if they are to be based on the facts that the game at a certain stage is not performing too well, and therefore they will need more time to get everything ironed out. We've seen that recently with 343 and Halo Infinite, which in fact could have been a disaster if it got launched on 10th of November, merging together with Xbox Series X and then not performing well. So they took this decision, which indeed was going to be costing them hundreds of millions of dollars, to postpone the game for another 12 to 18 months. And Microsoft Studios and Microsoft Corporation had to be adjusting. They had to bring in Destiny as a substitute. Destiny was going to be part and parcel of the Ultimate Game Pass subscription. You'll get the full Beyond Light and the rest of the content for free, etc., etc. So they had to really change the strategy, but I have to say Microsoft did display great flexibility. So from offering new console with one game as being the major promotional tool, they've gone down the route of using the Game Pass services, which offer many games, up to 200 at the moment, as being the main the main product that is offered with the new console on its release date. And it worked so far, I have to say. It worked so far. I think lots of people who I've spoken to here from my platform, as well as other people on Twitter who were subscribing for the first time to the Ultimate, they were delighted because there were so many games. All of them performed perfectly well. All of those were downloadable, which meant you could get the very best results immediately on your console. The quality graphics and everything else, which is not the case with PS Now services. I've got to say, I've played many games on PS Now, probably a few more compared to our Game Pass on Microsoft platforms, and there were issues. There were issues with the frame rate, with the speed, if you were really using their kind of streaming tools. If you download it, then obviously everything was hunky-dory, but unfortunately 75% of the games on PlayStation Now are not downloadable, which means they will have, not all of them, some of them will have some issues. Okay, so to summarize, why is all this happening? Why is it that we get Anthem, Fallout 76 and Cyberpunk 2077 released prematurely? As I explained, it's all down to the companies. It's down to the expectations. It's down to the marketing budgets. It's down to the degree of confidence that these development companies need to be displaying towards the investors. That's the key reason, because obviously the investors are placing their own capital into those companies. They want them to be excelling, and in a market which is fiercely competitive, but in the last 5 to 8 years we've seen an unbelievable progression amongst the companies and developers that were previously seen as two-man, three-man teams, ascending to major companies employing several hundred people. And as you could see, there are lots of practical and logistical issues attached to it. It does remind me of the golden era of Hollywood, when we had the talkies introduced in 1927. It did take 3 years for everything to be fully integrated, but then in the 30s you've had quite a selection of so-called major film studios in Los Angeles, and they were competing in a way which was fierce, but they realized very quickly that the issues that they'll be experienced could actually completely bury the overall industry. So what it did was, the heads of the studios who all knew each other got together, decided on what genres, what studios will be producing. And that was an ingenious decision to take. Bear with me, I'm losing my stream in there. I apologize, it's all gone for some reason, don't know why. Yeah, up and running. Yeah, so basically they decided it was not a good idea for Warner Brothers to be doing westerns and comedies when in fact they could excel with dramas and gangster flicks. They didn't think that it was a good idea for MGM to be producing crime films if they could excel with musicals. So they decided what every studio was, the best at. A particular genre, a particular crew, certain types of directors, certain actors became proprietary to those studios. So they had major production of loads of different films, but they were not really clashing with the interest of another. The only interest they had was to get as many people to come to cinema as possible. But in terms of how they made films, it was all regulated. It was all done by agreement. That's lacking in this industry. That is lacking in this industry, and this is where the difficulties really are at present. That's the sole reason as to why these things are happening. And I think this will be resolved in due course. So for anyone who purchased Cyberpunk, I would advise you to sit on it, to be a bit patient, to be, maybe to play other games, because Cyberpunk will be patched and it will be developed. You will get probably tons of free content. You will get many brownie points and many DLCs and any additional bits and pieces coming in view of the difficulties as experienced today. So just sit on it. Don't worry. Your money will be seen as a worthwhile investment, and once the game is properly patched, it will perform perfectly well on platforms. If I understood correctly, the biggest complaint about the content was this is a massive big city, the massive big map of Night City, and the current campaign is just literally venturing out to maybe 2 or 3 sections of it. Well, they will be launching lots of DLCs. Every DLC will take place in a different part of that map, or will comprise several together. So just, patience is key. Patience is a virtue. And if you sit on the game for a little while, it will begin to work. Okay, so these are the news for today. And as you see, we had quite a few of those coming in our way on wires. And thank you very much for listening to all I had to say. I really thought it was very important to explain as to why these difficulties with AAA blockbusters had been occurring during the last few years. And I wouldn't say with every single one, but with quite a large number, we just simply have to anticipate that if you are having cross-platform access, if you are offering your game to be playable on literally any platform imaginable of today, and specifically for multiplayers like this one, if you'll be able to join in one arena from any platform, well, there will be technical issues, and then simply do try to understand that the developers are not trying to take your money and run. They basically want to provide the best possible gaming experience, but there are certain technical and human constraints which they are currently experiencing. Okay, so this was my introduction for today. These were the news, and very shortly, after my short break, we'll crack on with some activity here in Warzone. We'll have several members joining us. As you can see, Ben and Spurs were very eager and very trigger happy. I'll bring them in straight away, and we'll crack on with some fierce action. So stay with us, I'll be back in 5 minutes. my friends, I'm back, and alright, my friends, I'm back, and we are going to be cracking up with some activity here in Warzone. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening to our introduction. Just a couple of messages coming in, and people delighted to hear about those issues related to 2077. One of our community members from Germany, he said, "Oh, I know why this is happening. I'm clear as to why BioWare and Bethesda had to do basically everything that was related to these games." And he said, "Well, you really enlightened us a bit on this." Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your comments and views. I'm glad you were able to get some extra knowledge on the reasons as to why these big blockbusters AAA titles backfired. And I was just literally trying to follow the article that I thought explained issues quite well, although he was mentioning a few issues in there that I would see as, how do I put it, based on some of the online rumor. You know, I don't think it was as bad as he said. Indeed, some games didn't perform, but there are also, you know, there's two different realities in there. There's one which is based on fact, the other which is created on social networking. And I wouldn't really say that certain games performed so badly that they couldn't be played at all. This was the case with Anthem and with Cyberpunk. Right? Fallout 76 was playable. No Man's Sky had serious issues. So, you know, we need to be able to differentiate fact from fantasy, or assumptions from the reality. And that's very, very important when it comes to any form of analysis of you know, these activities in our gaming community. So thank you to Joachim. Thank you for, I had actually some messages from Joachim the other day as well. So thank you. Very good to see that we have our community members in literally every country of the world, and very grateful that you listen to my introductions. Indeed, participating here with our streams through various means, very, very truly rewarding to me personally, as well as to all of our gaming participants in here. Alright, so the time indeed has come for us to enjoy some activity in Warzone. So let me see who else is in there. We have General, we have Spurs. Just bring in Spurs if at all possible. And we'll try to bring in General as well if he wants to join us. So let me see if Spurs will be able to pop in. I'll bring in General. General will also join us, I think, once we're here. Our regulars, really. And Spurs, of course, one of the most dedicated members here in our Warzone community, and General, one of our community participants. What I'll do is I'll just send Spurs a separate message, so just bear with us. I'll try to make sure that he knows that we can crack on. There we are. Let me see if our friends will join us. Let's see what will be happening. Really quite excited to see more activity here in Warzone. I need to also work out the schedule during my Christmas period, because I thought we could do some short Destiny Christmas streams rather than anything else, which will be, you know, enjoyable and provided literally throughout the whole period. If I'm not mistaken, the Dawning season will be ending somewhere early January, and therefore I want to get some of the cookies and some of the materials and goodies that Ava Levant is offering. So let's see if we are going to be able to complete it. I've got to say, since I migrated from PlayStation to Xbox for my Destiny streams, we did see that some of the community members were not joining us, and the good news is Destiny is going to be cross-platform in the new year, so I really look forward to this, and everyone who's on a PC, Stadia or on Xbox and PlayStation will be able to step in, and therefore our activities will be back to normal, I think, and perhaps even greater and bigger and more enjoyable than ever before. Destiny, one of the very best games for any form of community-based content, also the game that has probably the largest community of gamers amongst all. And don't forget, many people migrated from Halo to Destiny initially, and Bungie, the developer of Halo, was indeed hoping and looking forward to that degree of membership, and that's exactly what took place. We had particularly some of those more mature, or I should say veteran gamers of Halo, who indeed stated after joining us here on the streams that they'd played.
Right, Miller?
Oh, hello, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Can't complain. Just come forth twice on that resurgence.
All right, fantastic. That sounds really good. And I've not really played many of these, and as you know, we are sort of sticking to Battle Royale, but need to try them sometime. I've heard from some of our friends that Cold War is still having some serious technical issues, so I've not really been spending time there, because it's very frustrating when you get in and you can see that it's not really performing. I'm not sure what's causing it, because they've given it for a week and they wanted to obviously bring in as many people as possible, but it just doesn't seem to perform well on the tech front. And Cyberpunk is having issues with Xbox and Microsoft as well, so it looks like they're going to be refunding everyone, so it's turning into a true disaster. I'm very sorry to see that, because the game looks incredible, but it seems like it performs well on PCs and it doesn't perform on consoles. It's just a sad state of affairs. Did you manage to play some games with Ben as well?
Yeah, I did. Hold on, my landlord's here, so I've just got to go see him quick.
Yeah, okay, no worries, yeah.
Right, 1 sec.
Yeah, sure, no worries. We'll be just waiting for our friends to join us. We really want to be playing with a full squad if possible, and it makes a big difference really in terms of how the game is experienced. General's here. Hello General, how are you doing? Spurs is here as well. He just had to nip out because somebody popped in and he had to sort something out, so he will be back very, very shortly, and then all three of us could crack on with our activities. Still trying to bring in the fourth member. Let me just have a look. People keep coming and going. See whether Don wants to join us. Ben had to depart. Tried to bring in Plastic Gangster if he wanted to join us. So just have to bear with us. So when the Spurs comes back in, we'll crack on with activities. Did you have many games today, General? If so, how did you go? You can just type on the chat. Spurs was just telling us he had a few games on Rebirth Resurgence Trios map, and they came fourth twice, in fact. So that was very, very enjoyable. I can tell you, General, I'm playing also Call of Duty Mobile on my Sony Xperia 525, and I get lots of good scores in there. And the reason for that is on my phone I'm on the faster speeds, and therefore I'm having some advantage really compared to other guys playing Call of Duty Mobile on older gen phones. And I don't know whether you played it on mobile, but there are really kind of lots of death matches, really tight kind of close quarter battle maps, and it's all about speed. It's all about speed of access and speed of your responses. So I had loads of victories in there, I have to say, and I think lots of other people are very frustrated because it doesn't really perform too well on the older generation phones, you know. It's like absolute top notch for anyone who is on the latest. And Sony Xperia 5.2 is actually a phone that's been partnered with Treyarch. So when you get the phone, the game's already preloaded. It's like proprietary to Sony, and everything works perfectly on that handset. If you have a chance, absolutely recommend it and try it. You can get it on any of the major operators in Britain. I'm not sure whether you're in Britain, General, but you know, they're offering. It's a brand new phone. It's come out like 6 weeks ago, and it's called the Ideal Gamers phone. For anybody who wants to do anything on mobile, that is the best one. Right, so we need to wait until Spurs comes back, then we'll crack on with activity. All good. Let's have a look at our loadout, see whether we can adjust anything. I was quite happy with the way my MP7 performed. Perks. Crippling power. Okay. Let's see what we've got there. Muzzle, barrel, optics, champion. Yeah, focus is actually very good. Don't know whether you've got it, General, but perk I really recommend on any sniper is this one. So it's giving you increased control of aim while being shot, and flinch resistance. It actually does give you greater accuracy. No, actually that's not true. Presence of mind is the one that I need. Presence of mind is the one that I was describing. Don't know why that focus was on, because with presence of mind you can be extending and hold, you know, you can basically extended hold breath is what you get, and you can be aiming a lot better. Okay, so that's all sorted. Don't need to look at this, and we'll look at stool.
Sorry about that, Miller.
No worries at all.
Took my sweet time there.
All good? All sorted?
Yeah. I only had to have a quick word with them, that's it. So it's all done now.
Yeah, just bear with me 1 second. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Bear with me.
Yeah, no worries.
see what's before us.
Playtime's over, mate.
Look at this, all gone. My lobby
Right.
was like 2 seconds
We're holding
long.
for deployment. Now's a good time to warm up.
Really odd.
That's right, straight into the game, that's what we want.
Straight into the game. I just realised I had a wrong perk on my sniper.
Oh, which one did you have?
Well, I had focus and I should have had presence of mind. Don't know
Yeah.
what changed.
Presence of mind gives you a bit more... Oh, we're going to do this Easter egg.
We can. Oh yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Carter's saying hello, saying have fun. Well, thank you.
Well,
try
we
to
will.
do this Easter egg, I think, with General on board.
Crap, I'm around the wrong side.
We'll try that. No? We want to see whether that's going to work.
Oh, I can't get in. Oh, General's already in there doing it.
Is it?
I'll just wait outside for you guys, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I dropped it too late. She's looking at the messages coming.
We'll just hang about outside here, Miller. Wait for General to finish when he comes out. Yeah, 'cause he's in there now.
You got a piece, have you? Because I didn't really pick anything up yet.
Yeah, there's...
A burst pistol, that's better than the one I've got.
if you drop that... Oh, I'll just drop this. Yeah, you can have this.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, there's a guy across the way. Good shot.
Gone.
Did you get him?
Yeah, of course. Another one behind us. 2 of them, 3 of them.
Oh, whatever.
We got it! We got it! Medic!
I've got one, but that's it.
No, I got one.
Yeah, he shot me once.
There was a team of 3 or 4 in there.
Need to survive.
Carter tells me that the perk was probably his fault. No, I don't think so. I just forgot that presence of mind was the one to have. You know, it's my error of judgment because I was looking at it several times after that, and for the reason I thought focus was no longer you can hold your breath, and it's the presence of mind that gives you that. So that's the main thing.
Whatever. That's annoying.
They're RTB at this time. Listen up, soldier. You return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done. Time to earn your freedom, soldier.
Where's it gone?
He was behind you, it looked like.
Going on a flag, I think. He was a bit slow, really. Slower than me. General's in a chopper. Okay, we need to get Spurs back.
No, he's not in the chopper. He's floating down.
Oh, he's floating.
No, he's floating down, I'm watching him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can see him now.
Enemy UAV overhead.
No, that's not it. Where is it downstairs? It's inside, is it? Oh,
Yeah, he's
on the
inside.
roof. Yeah.
Rifle here.
Getting the scav.
Identified. Marking location now.
Not too far away over the
No,
scav.
it's just nearby.
We're in the safe zone.
Watch for enemy.
Ah, I didn't manage to. I didn't manage to
Learn from the loss.
release that rocket. So ridiculous. Oh, we all dead. Well, that didn't work too well, I'm afraid. We all dead, man. We all dead, man. Too bad. Ah. Well, we'll do it again. Let's get some artillery instead of camping. I think that's the thing to do. Because I had that score, that didn't, yeah, performed alright, but the other guys have better weapons than us. That bloke that killed me, he saw me dropping, and then he followed me, tailed me really, and I grabbed a rocket launcher, but because of the lag, the rocket didn't release, you know? Pulled the trigger, but the rocket didn't get properly launched. And this is what does happen, so very annoying. Right, General, you drop exactly at the same spots we'll follow, and we need to drop early, I think. Well, I need to drop early. We'll try to get in. It's all about grabbing that egg first, isn't it? Because if you don't grab it, then it's gone.
But as soon as you're in that building, you get locked in anyway. So no one can get in while you're in there. As soon as you press the button, you get locked in.
Yeah, that's really then gonna be to our advantage.
But the place fills up with gas. If you don't do it, you die.
Yeah. Dreadful drizzle in here. Honestly, it's been drizzling all night long, and then probably will stop around 5 o'clock. I was gonna watch The Irishman last night, you know.
Yeah, you didn't bother watching it in the end, though.
It's too late by the time I got back from my dinner. So I watched Shut Island.
There's a 3-hour-long film.
Yeah,
Shut Island's brilliant.
I watched instead.
Brilliant movie, that.
Yeah, it was good, yeah. Oh, go away. Managed to get 2.
I got 1.
Yeah. Ah, well.
Playtime's over, mate.
CQBs are not really my favourite types of activities in here. Did Hunter come in last night?
I don't know. I kept getting kicked from my group with Sammy, so I just turned it off in the end. Tried to join Benukin and it wouldn't let me, so I just turned it off. I thought, well, if there's any updates, it'll sort itself out while I'm asleep.
There are loads of updates coming in all the time, yeah. So what, are we going to that Easter egg again?
I don't know. Yeah. Jump, Miller.
General would just go for that Easter egg again. So you know where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's here. It's on the orange mark.
On the orange mark, yeah?
Yeah.
General can go in and grab some weapons.
Supply box located. Route secure. Eliminate all targets in the AO.
I'm in here with him.
Do I need to join you?
No, you can't get in now anyway.
Okay, you're locked in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, have a cup of tea and read newspapers outside, shall I? Have a biscuit.
Yeah, you might as well do something like that, yeah.
Next objective located.
Today, I'm not going to be forgetting about my biscuit. It's 5:15. Yesterday, I forgot all about it. That was ridiculous.
You just hang about outside though, Miller.
Yeah, I'm just hiding in there.
Objectives updated. Move to the next location. Contract complete. All supply boxes located.
Oh, plenty of money. Get our loadout ASAP as well. Maybe we'll just go to the underground, I think, first of all, right?
Oh,
The egg's still not found. Well, there's someone in there.
no, we're dead.
Somebody inside. I wasn't able to get in.
No, you can't.
What killed you? The gas?
The gas, yeah. There's gas inside here.
No, it's open. Can I pick it up?
No.
Guess what? There were some other people in there.
No. There might be more at the bottom when we were in there.
He must have
The
just
door's
gone-
locked.
Yeah, I mean, he probably just got in. General says, I'm angry right now.
This guy looks angry. So painted him red.
Survive and you can redeploy. The fight's begun. You're up next, mate. Get ready. Your teammate got a proper
Yes,
sortie. We're sending them home.
Ah. Blocks us
Listen up,
away.
soldier. Win here and you return to the front line. If you lose, you're done. You're up, soldier. Now go
Arriba,
sort this
más
fucker
por
out.
abajo como si fuera para el auditorio.
Oh, I can't believe this. Headshot. That's the. This was the best moment in Gulag ever since I played a game. I was so far. I have
I'm
a
out.
pistol.
Thank God.
Right, so let's see where our friend is. We'll go and join him because we've got all the dosh.
Moving. Disregard left. Moving. Disregard left.
Yeah, we'll go there. Okay. Military base, right?
Yeah, got sniped straight away. Oh crap.
So there's a team camping in there, but
Yeah.
I've got a weapon. There's a thing gun. Oh, sniper.
There's a sniper in the tower.
Yeah, he's in the tower. I've just seen. Shall I just watch out for that sniper who's in the tower? You got that silly pistol, I can't do anything with it. Another guy in there.
Bit of body armor here. Moving.
No, they got him. Crawl towards me, crawl towards me.
I've got you.
Push. No, they were gonna push us. I knew. He managed to get us both, but he wasn't alone. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them. I'll tell you what, we do just like one last try of these egg, otherwise we're not gonna spend all that time. Get them killed early.
You'll like the Easter egg though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can try it several times.
Unlucky, buddy.
Ai,
Unlucky.
eu tô
Unlucky.
eu sei, a ver, non sto beando. Arrivito.
Jen was saying, what is going on with me? Well, nothing really. It's just that we were just a bit unlucky, that's all. And we'll do another.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Sniper King. Hang on. Wants to join us.
He's got a stuffy nose because of this damn weather.
Yeah, that weather's dreadful.
Well, I've got some Otravine anyway, so I should unblock my nose.
Let's just wait and see whether our friend Sniper King wants to join us. We can be a squad of 4. Just give him a second. He's in the lobby. Oh, I see he's doing Cold War, he's not doing Warzone. Okay. Let's see.
Which Destiny do you play? You play 1 or 2? Or both?
Both of those, yeah. I play Destiny 1 and 2.
I've got Destiny 2, I just don't downloaded it.
Alright, well we could do it together sometime if you fancy. And
Yeah.
show the ropes. Because you've got
I've done the first mission on Destiny 2, that's it.
the Red Wall mission when the tower is under that massive attack and they need to get out of there.
I have no idea. I can't remember, it was a while ago.
Yeah. Well, they kind of reworked it now. They're introducing a linear storytelling. So they brought in some other maps from Destiny 1. And it's a kind of a Destiny universe which is evolving. But there's so much to do in there. It's a massive big game with loads of different activities and quests and pinnacle weapons, and one can just keep playing it infinitely.
Yeah, it was free to download on PlayStation, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Destiny
it still is.
2.
No, it still is.
Yeah.
You still get it on all platforms free of charge. The only thing is, you will not be getting DLCs like Beyond Light and what's the other one? Forsaken and all the other ones. So, but still, lots of activities there, and we could do it together. I think the activities which are based on the current season, which is called the Dawning, you have to collect some cookies and then bake cakes, and then you get some loot. That's accessible to everyone. So that's every year at Christmas. It's really good fun. And what I like about the game is basically it's community content. It's a very community-friendly game. So you have lots of people who will want to be, and they will need to be learning on what to do through other participants. So you always have got to have somebody else to basically show the ropes, and therefore it has such a large number of players really coming in at all times. Initially, the sequel was not particularly appealing. It lacked content and there was some technical issues, but during the second year they provided all the patches and 3 seasons that made it extremely busy, and that's the way it's been ever since. Because what they want to do is they want to create, one Destiny world where everything is in there. Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 included, the campaigns and all other kind of add-ons. But we need to see how that's going to work. And Destiny will go cross-platform in the new year, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I have lots of community members who are on PC.
The General said he's going to go do that Easter egg alone, and we'll just catch up with him at the 5.
Okay, we'll do that.
Not at the buy at the train station. Killed 3 people with that duff shotgun.
Yeah. Oh really?
Mhm.
You're done warming up. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
They have nerfed it though. It's not as powerful as it was. Takes 4 shots to kill someone with
They
it.
nerfed it already, so it's not as good.
Mhm. It was not the Dragon Breath one, but they reckon they're going to nerf that anyway. Because that's just too stupid, that one.
Yeah.
2 shots and you're dead.
Battle Royale.
Well, that's always.
Yeah,
causing
we're not
issues.
going there. We're not going there. General is. He's just gonna. We'll go somewhere else.
Okay. You go nearby? Farmland or somewhere? Oh, no, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Go to Scav.
Contract. Oh.
And just hope and pray that there's no one else there.
Well. Time will tell.
Yes, it will.
Located a supply
Right, can you see that Scav? You go to it, Miller?
to engage all targets.
Just a second.
Nice, I've got a weapon, so I don't feel as vulnerable now.
Now I'm being shot at already.
Are you at the Scav?
Yeah. I'm inside the building.
Nice.
I missed it. Where is it? Downstairs. Yeah, I found it.
Objectives updated. Move to the next location.
Right. Get to the next. General's 8 away from us, and we're near a metro station anyway,
Oh
so...
yeah. That's a good spot.
Contract updated. New objective identified.
Oh, 70 away. Okay.
Let this guy get this one, because we've got one each so far, haven't we?
Yeah. It's 29. Just it's inside this building in here. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
come-
let him pick it up first. Yeah, nice, nice.
Solid work.
Good. Let's make our way to General. Yeah, he's marked the building that we got to go to. Let's find a vehicle.
420 away.
Yeah. We'll make it, don't worry. There's a vehicle here. Let's jump in this.
Yeah, sure. Copy that.
Oh, I saw someone running across.
I want to use that RPG. How far is it?
Good. Use the RPG on him. Did you use the RPG?
Got him. Destroyed a vehicle. Hey man, everyone else in there. That was good.
Did you
Everything
kill them
good.
all though?
Well,
Your teammates in the gulag. If they
yeah.
survive, they can redeploy.
Good. Because there is a few over there. There was 4 that I saw.
Losing ground.
Now I'm out of
Oh,
everything.
oh, you destroyed the vehicle.
No, it was another
Oh, let's
team.
get out of here.
No, it was another team in there. It was not these other guys. Well, I thought it died.
Jesus Christ.
I'll come to your aid. Hang on.
There's a guy on me.
One on me as well. Don't see where he is.
Yeah, the same guy that downed me.
Down 2 of them. General just finished them all off.
Teammates done in. They're returning to base.
Yeah, go with General then.
Into the gulag.
It's like 300 away. There's a whole lot of teams engaging there. So let's see if we hear it.
We're sending them home.
It's a lengthy crawl. 7 minutes of crawling.
This is the gulag. Survive and you can redeploy.
Yeah, General's in the thing again.
Mike's ready. Get ready to fight. You're next. Win here and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over. You're up, soldier. Now go sort this fucker out.
Come on, I'm rocking. I won again. What is going on? Laggy players in this gulag. No, where's General now? Plenty of money to get everyone back.
Yeah.
Just buy everyone back, General, if you can. Yeah, I'm dropping. Trying to get that ASAP.
Good plates, mate. Nice, cheers.
So now we need to go to the underground station, right?
No.
Friendly loadout drop on the way. Moving.
2 loadouts in there.
Yeah.
Or 1. 1. Oh, it's 2.
That's a friendly loadout, so.
Okay.
Does anyone need this?
I will. Definitely.
Danke. I need this as well.
Loadout drop inbound.
There were so many people in this other area where we died. Massively frightened.
Gas is moving in.
No idea how many
Safe zone
times.
located.
Helicopter, yeah.
He was gonna come. Oh, he's got a minigun.
Yeah.
Does anyone need this? Enemy helo! Enemy UAV overhead.
General's keen on that chopper. What's in here? You've been inside there. This hole.
No.
Go on the left actually. Oh, I see. Yeah, it just brings us into the underground, that's all it is. Some money. Ticket office. Right, I'm out of that.
Moving ground.
You walking? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Be advised, there's an enemy team hunting you. Watch for enemy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, always me.
Well, join the club. Not been getting it that frequently of late, must admit.
Contact!
Oh.
Taking fire!
Sniper on that ping.
Contact!
Did you see the ping?
No. Yeah, I can see the ping. I just can't see anyone because there's a building in the way. He's not going to be able to get me.
Got me. I don't believe this. And how was he able to see me? There's like
Come,
two trees
come
in
round the
there.
other side.
No, there's like two trees in there, and I couldn't see anything, and he managed to get me.
They're lighting me up!
Crossfire, crossfire.
Where is he?
Well, there was somebody.
Oh, drop their plates.
I need a plate actually. I haven't got it.
Crap, he is over there.
Moving!
Looks like they're gonna rush us. It's gonna push us for certain. Because there was a triple threat.
Sustaining heat!
You,
Firing for
can you
that
drop
thing.
them plates? Whoever picked them up, drop them plates. Cheers.
Yes,
Body
thank
armor
you.
here.
I didn't pick them up. Why is that? Right. Shooting through the wall. Just look at that.
Where is he?
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, he's on the roof. Next to the tower.
You tagging? Tagging?
Got shot already.
I'll get an email.
Strike inbound. I've got you!
Passed by the kill on the other side, you know? He's outside, one of them. There,
Moving!
there.
Moving!
went downhill.
Enemy vehicle!
He's probably camping, you know, it's probably just behind a bush. Didn't manage to hit him.
Enemy lost track. You're safe.
Now we need to see where the other guy was. He's still there, he's still there.
Safe zone.
Get in here a minute. Well, the gas will get him. Get in here.
I pinged the position where he is. He's camping.
39 metres that way. 5 metres, he's in the building.
One guy downstairs. He killed us both. He was just alone. He was alone, you know?
He's behind the door.
Lovely, lovely. Oh no, 6 guys down there. It's too many guys coming in. General did manage to get at least 4. But you lost your minigun. Sadly, so, but hiding and camping now. You got
Nice, well done.
it. You got him. Really good. Enemy vehicle. Do you see it? They're going for the loadout. Don't go in there.
Enemy
They're
vehicle!
aborted now. Just watch out. Don't be dropped. We're just one guy going up there, you know? Yeah, they aborted. It looked like they were going to go for the loadout. Well, you got your best weapons, so it's all good.
Well, that's a powerful weapon, that valve.
Got a vehicle.
You have the certain weapon type that's single shot. You can shoot through walls and stuff with it.
Yeah.
I've got the weapon type for it.
Does anyone need this? Does anyone need this?
Any other supply runs in there? Not many.
Aid station here.
None. Just taken them all. It's really annoying. Money, money, money. General's on a PC. Aren't you, General? I think you are. This guy is completely invisible. Silent. Oh, the grenade. Oh, that was alright. Good. Unlucky. I don't know where he was.
Unlucky, mate.
General said that he's got to be departing. No worries.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. All good. I've got 3 of them in there. Not too bad. It was that vehicle exploding that killed, I think, all 3 of them. I downed about 4 other guys in a firefight, but they didn't die. Oh. Right, hang on. Thought I got some of these then. Or not. Nope. Curious to see what I'm getting. No, I'm not getting any freebies in there. Apologise to my viewers, this is causing us some issues.